All right, Mark. So we've obviously now introduced people. They understand a little bit what networking for profit is all about.
Mm-hmm.
But when we've discussed it, we've kind of identified three key things that we'd probably call the fundamentals of networking.
Yeah, the most important things that you need to do in order to make networking produce business for you. Because at the end of the day, if it's not producing business, you are wasting money going.
Exactly, and it's not like we've all got loads of money to waste on networking and other types of marketing as well. So we want to make sure it works, and we reckon that there are certainly three fundamentals that we believe that you need to have when you go networking. The first one is all about sales. It's called networking for a reason. I always say, you go to a networking meeting, you don't go to a sales meeting.
No, it's true, and a lot of salespeople actually don't like networking meetings because they're completely different. The whole ethos of networking is completely contrary to what most people involved in sales will think. And if you try and sell at a networking meeting, it just doesn't work, does it?
No. I've had a couple of times where I've sat down and I've been given the hard sell at a networking meeting, and I just felt grubby and it was uncomfortable. So our first fundamental rule of networking is that it is about networking. It's about speaking to people, getting to know them, but using them to introduce you to their network. So it's not about the one person in front of you, it's the 20 or 30 people that you can meet that they know, or the 20 or 30 people that you know.
Yes, it's very much that is the heart of it. It is who is in their network that they can introduce to you, and as such, you've got to be very, very open to the people at the meetings and never dismiss anyone. And don't try and sell to them. It just won't work. It'll put them off.
No. Okay. All right, so that's the first one. The second principle is that, it doesn't happen overnight. Networking takes time. I always say when I've been doing presentations at networking, it took me 6 months before I even made my first sale. It's just not something that, you don't... I mean, how long did it take for you to really get something out of networking?
I think it took me about 6 months again. It usually does take around that amount of time. And also, you've got to ask yourself the question, do you do business with people that you don't like? Do you do business with people that you don't trust? It takes you a long time to build trust. Now, particularly with what I do, being a hypnotherapist, I have to establish trust with people first. And that's why over time I do so well, because I'm very good at establishing trust with people. But you can't, I guess from my point of view, it's quite a fortunate thing. You can't sell hypnotherapy. It's all built on trust and relationships. So the two things are very, very much tied. You've got to be patient. You don't sell, you build trust over time.
Yeah, no, so very true. Number two, it's not going to happen overnight. You need to give it time. Now, the third one is it's kind of like we see lots of people regularly going to meetings. There's people that every time we go to networking, they're there. But we never hear from them outside of the meeting. It's like, and again, coming back to what Mark said, networking's about relationships. And what that means is that it's not just about the meetings. It's about the follow-up. So if you have a conversation with someone, are you following up? Are you actually meeting them outside of the networking meeting?
Well, all my most important meetings take place outside of networking. I get introduced to new people at the networking meetings and follow up outside with an email or just a phone call. Even if I literally phone up to say, hi, thanks for a great meeting, you're just making contact all the time. And over time, you'll find out who you really need to speak to, who works best for you within that context, and they'll start referring to you. But if you don't follow up, you might as well have not been there.
Yeah. And obviously the other side of that is that if you get to know them, they're not the right person, then obviously you that's something that you can stop wasting time on. Okay, so they're kind of like the three fundamentals that we see as kind of like the core of good networking, and that's one of the things that we're trying to promote here. Good networking practice.
Now, if you're sitting there watching this saying to yourself, but I know that already, you should really be asking yourself why you're not implementing it. Because the amount of people who say, I know to follow up, and they still don't do it. Yes, yeah.
It's frustrating.
We're going to deal with that later on, but that's if you're asking yourself, if you're saying that to yourself, I know all this already. Stop. Are you doing them?
Because you're not. We know you're not. That's the reason we stood here doing this now. Because you're not. Okay, so that's the 3 fundamentals of networking that really is kind of like underpins everything that we do here at Networking for Profit. First one, networking is not sales. Second one, don't expect results overnight. You will get them eventually, but it's not going to happen overnight. It's not a quick fix. And thirdly, networking is not just about networking meetings. It's about everything that you do outside of those meetings. You still need to go networking, but it's building on top of those relationships and really driving it forward. And if you adopt those 3 things, great. Chances are you're probably not, just as Mark said. So hopefully you'll watch a few more videos and really understand why you need to adopt them and what you can actually do to make sure that you do adopt them. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.
Thanks for watching. If you want to watch the next video in our series, just click here. And if you want to learn a bit more about Robin and Mark and why they're involved in Networking for Profit, click here or here. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, please click the subscribe button. And remember, when you go networking, are you networking for coffee and chat, or are you networking for profit?